So I want to talk about how personal development can actually be a crippling thing when it comes to content, listening to others, influencers, social media, all this kind of thing. Because now more than ever, the voices on social media are so loud. There is so many opinions, there's so many points of view. It can get so confusing and it can get really crippling to the point where you're lost, you don't know what to do next. And I'm coming to you from the lens of being a bit more of an ambitious type, someone who wants the more extraordinary things out of life, which I'm just making these videos for the younger version of me who needed this sort of thing. And I was the more ambitious type. I wanted to get out of the rat race. I wanted to, leave the 9-to-5 world behind. I wanted to make sure that I could provide for myself and anyone else that was important to me in my life in a way that made me feel like I was in control of my finances and my life in the most easy way possible. And that's the short version of it. And obviously that journey has taken me to this point where I have a version of that now, which I'm so proud of. And social media and these things is such a helpful tool. It really is. But there is a point where it gets crippling. There is a point where it gets to the point where it's more damaging than it is good. And I think it's very easy to get into that position because I'm guilty of this. I did the whole content thing because I saw the people creating personal brands and I wanted to make a business out of it, which is a reason why I make these videos now, because that is still something that I feel I can give value to other people for, as young men or women in business who want to, they want to do the things that I feel like I've got to a level of now. And I didn't know these things back then. But I went through the stages of social media where there wasn't as much information around as there is now. There is so many voices now. There's so many people with opinions and with expertise, and they showed off the best sides of their life. And a lot of the time, and I think the majority of the time, they haven't actually got the same results that they preach or that they say they do. And that can be really misleading because the ones that I've found that are real, and I've invested tens of thousands of dollars into myself in terms of, probably I would say in the six figures now, in terms of my own mentorship with different types of people. And the ones that are real are they're not as loud and they're not as audacious as the ones that are the good ones. And that's a bit of a side note, but the thing that I wanted to make a point of with personal development is the thing that taught me the most and gave me the best possible progression was just blind action and blindly going through something and learning as I went. I'll give you an example of what that looks like. I've told this story a million times. I feel like a bit of a broken record, but if you're the first time watching this, it'll make sense. But I was 28 years old, living with my mum in her spare room because I just got back from Queensland. I'd failed for the millionth time. And I wanted to, all my 20s, through even my teenage years, I've been trying to do business of some sort. And I tried and failed so many different things. And when I was 28 and I had nothing left, I had a car that I didn't own, and I had my laptop, and I had a few belongings that I was living with mum with, and I had no money and I was broke. And I stacked a lot of skills through digital marketing. And so for the millionth time, I tried digital marketing again, and that was the thing that got me to the next level. But the point I wanted to make is I had one mentor at the time that I could afford a monthly subscription to, and that was enough community for me to feel like I wasn't the black sheep of all of the people that I was talking to about wanting to make a lot of money, because they would laugh at me, or they would, they'd be like, oh yeah, but be safe and go get a job and all that sort of shit, which I'm sure you've heard before. And I just blindly went again. And when I say blindly, I mean, I just opened my laptop and I just started calling clients. I just started calling people to see if they needed my digital marketing services because I had experience with getting digital marketing as my skill. And that's where I started, and I started again. Now I've created a business where over the last few years, I've got my business up to 50, 60K per month through just trying things and failing. And that blind action taught me more, time in the game taught me more than any personal development course or video or whatever it was. And the point of this video is to share that it can be helpful, of course, mentorships are so helpful to be able to progress and to move forward. But there comes a point in time where if you're feeling stuck, it's probably because you're just avoiding some hard work that you need to do, and that you know you need to do in your gut, and you're not meant to know how to do it. That's not the point. You're meant to learn on the job, and it's scary because you have the imposter syndrome, and you have the complete doubt. You have no idea how it's going to turn out, and that's the point. That's the difficult stuff that most people avoid. And so my drive and my push was because I didn't want a normal life. I would sooner be dead than do that. And I'm very serious about that. I would sooner be dead than go and get a 9-to-5 job and just live a normal life. That's for some people, but it's probably not for you if you're watching this. And so the voices on social media, like you've got Alex Mosio over here who's saying, I work every second of the day, and you should, not you should, but the way that he preaches his lifestyle and his mantra is that he just loves to work. And that's what he would prefer to do than go out on weekends or see family or, that's kind of his thing, but he's a visionary. And then you've got the other side of that, who's like a guy like Tim Ferriss as an example, who's got the 4-hour work week, and he's like, hire yourself out of your business, work 4 hours a week, and you're like, it can be conflicting information. You're like, well, which one is right? And it's like, they're both right. They're just for the type of person or the type of personality of the type of business that you want to build. And it's being selective with who you listen to. But like I said, it's at the point where you need to start creating action to be able to move forward. It is one of the only things. And it is a scary thought. It is a scary pursuit because it is completely unknown. And it's that anxiety-ridden feeling of like, I don't know if this is right, but I'm just going to try it anyway. And I need to look at my notes real quick, but I've been noting everything down as I go. Like I was on the plane here to Sunshine Coast, just writing notes down what was something that was really profound to me. And so as an example, there is no wrong action in the sense that one of my mentors, Dan Bolton, taught me that everything works. And what that means is you can create a business, you can create a lifestyle that works for you in your own way. It doesn't need to be the way that your mentor says, here's how to do this in 3 steps. It's like, that's something that is derived from inputs that they have, and then they've created it themselves, or they've just regurgitated it. But a good example of this is my agency. I don't do phone calls anymore. And in agency space, phone calls are absolutely pivotal. What I thought, but all of my clients are now managed through chat apps, and I hardly even speak to them now. And I've created a business that works for my lifestyle for that reason. That's why I'm able to fly up here on business class up to the Sunshine Coast to see my best mate who's moved into this beautiful place. I've created a business where I can do that now. And I don't have to stress and be concerned about, clients calling me all the time and, them having problems on that sort of thing, because I've built the business that I want that suits my lifestyle. Everything works. And another perfect example of this is this YouTube channel. Sorry if there's a plane flying over. Hang on, I'll show you where I'm at. Give me a sec, this looks sick. I'm literally just looking over the river right now. It's a perfect 25-degree day. A perfect example is this YouTube channel where I want to make content like this because I still enjoy it. But making a video a day on Instagram just didn't suit me anymore. I didn't feel aligned with it. Making a YouTube video a week that hopefully will help you guys is something that is far more appealing to me and sustainable for me as well, where I have a deal with one of my good friends, Tom Noski, who's, you might know who he is, incredible teacher in the creator space. And we have a deal where we are going to post a YouTube video a week, no questions asked, for the next 2 years. That's our deal together. And you don't make a deal with someone like that and you don't live up to it. That's why I'm sitting here creating this video now. And the only way I can sustain that is I shoot from my phone. So I'm shooting from my phone. I upload directly to YouTube. I create a title that I think would be compelling enough for you to watch and actually give you something valuable, because I don't want to just spin some shit and it not be helpful, and post it. And if I were to ask anybody and say, hey, what about YouTube? In their mind, or start creating content on YouTube, in their mind, they're like, lighting, camera setup, has to be high end. They've watched all the YouTube videos themselves because they're into self-help. So they're just like, I can't compete with the guys who are doing the best stuff. It's like, That is too much of a crippling thought to be anywhere near sustainable, let alone create one video. Go from 0 to 100. It doesn't need to be that. You can still create for creating's sake and in a way that works for you. And that's why I'm doing it in this way. And so action precedes clarity. I'm sure I'm going to get to a point where I create something that's a little bit more high end and more curated. I can do that. I've learnt those skills. But for now, this suits my lifestyle perfectly. So action precedes clarity in every way possible. If you're feeling stuck, there's work you're avoiding and you just need to do it. Whether it's you need to start cold calling 10 clients a day or potential businesses a day to sign them into your agency digital marketing space. Whether it's to put together your VSL and film your VSL so you can put your landing page together and create your offer. Whether it's going to the gym 5 times a week and starting by, I don't know, like whatever the habit is that you've been avoiding in your stomach inside you, it needs to be something. The more information that you start to inputs that you have, the more disheartened you're going to get. And so you need to block that stuff out for a little bit, keep the voices small, and start to do more so that you can create some more clarity through action. And that's one of my best bits of advice. So I hope this was helpful. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day out here. I'm going to go sit out in the sun, try and get some color, and I'll do it safely. And that's it. Have a good one.